So the interesting thing about this for me, and so the film certificate is it's a 12A. Well, I'm just looking this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, 12. That's fine. The documentary, it looks like,
it's a language thing.
Was a 15. Yeah. So
okay, yes, I should then, based on what you said, I should say yes. Fair enough. It's not like Wonka.
Yes.
It's Wonka that has no bad language in it.
But I remember really clearly seeing the documentary, and I reviewed it, when we were doing the show together. And of course, you know a lot about football, and I don't. And I went back to my review. I said, whether or not you give two hoots about the beautiful game, and I don't, this charming and uplifting documentary will have you cheering for the underdogs and wishing that all footballers were this humble, this determined, and just this plain decent. And then I talked about...
So you're quoting yourself there?
No, because I'm just putting this in context. And because I'm saying that Jaya tackles hard, comes up smiling, and wins the respect of gruff coach Thomas Ronken. So the first question is, do you need a dramatisation? Which kind of harks back to, do you need a Wonka prequel? Probably not. But the thing is, it's a lovely story. I mean, it is a genuinely lovely, heartwarming story. And I think that right now, a lovely story about people coming together in, unexpected circumstances is very important. At the very beginning, we're told that, this is a true story, but there have been some dramatic licenses taken. So the dramatic licenses are things like the coach, he didn't have a temper or a drinking problem. He wasn't fired for throwing chairs around on the side of the pitch. He wasn't estranged from his wife, although he did have a family tragedy. And he never, ever in real life questioned Jaya, So those things are kind of put in for dramatic effect. And I'm not entirely sure that you need, because in a way, the story itself is so great and so perfect that I'm not sure that it actually needed that tweaking. But if we accept that you're going to dramatize something and turn it into that, fine. Okay, so those dramatic licenses we shall take. So the question is, does the drama then tell the story in a way which is charming and uplifting and all the rest of it? And I think that it kind of does. I don't think it's as good as the documentary, because the documentary was so special. And I really mean it when I say the documentary was the first football film that I ever really got football. But as the coach, Fassbender he is funny because he plays it straight, because he doesn't play, it's like people saying the way you play drunk is that you try to play sober because drunks act sober. The way you play comedy is you do it straight because that makes it funnier. I think the whole thing about the team who they're at the bottom of the everything, and all they want to do is, this thing just keeps repeated, just one goal, just one goal. And in a way, because the dramatic setup is so simple and so like literally get the team to score one goal, just win once. That even with all my kind of, okay, well, I love the documentary and why are we going back to this? I got to confess that when we got into the final, when they're finally doing the match, I was suddenly feeling exactly the same way. And there's a thing about cutting back to the people watching on television, which is it's an age-old trope, but it works rather well. I mean, it's not a work of genius. It's quite dramatically clunky, but it's such a heartwarming story. And honestly, if people go and see this who would never have seen the documentary,
so more people. It's a Taika Waititi film. More people are going to see it.
Precisely. And if you do see it and you do like it, watch the documentary, because the doc is so empowering and so lovely. And I think this is done, it's clearly done with love and affection, isn't it? It's clearly made by somebody who thinks this story is worth trumpeting.
And also from what Taika was saying, the people who were responsible for the documentary were there to help them make sure that this football match was the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and also because the story has now kind of passed into modern legends. We're saying at the beginning, we said that thing about the fisherman who fished up the islands and pulled up New Zealand. Yeah. He's a great conversationalist, isn't he? He is really, really fun. He's fun company. But no, it was, it's such a lovely story that, go and see it. And particularly at the moment, this is the kind of thing in which it's, the triumph of the underdogs pulling together and going, just one goal.
And Next Goal Wins is the name of the movie. Hello, esteemed podcast listeners. Simon Mayo.
And Mark Kermode here.
Very excited to let you know that the new season of The Crown and The Crown, the official podcast, to accompany the 6th and final season of Netflix epic royal drama series.
This is very exciting, particularly because super sub and friend of the show Edith Bowman is hosting this one.
Indeed, Edith will take you behind the scenes, dive into conversation with the talented cast and crew, from writer and creator Peter Morgan to The Crown's Queen Elizabeth, Imelda Staunton.
Other guests on the new series include The Crown's research team, the directors, executive producer Suzanne Mackey, and specialists such as voice coach William Conacher and props master Owen Harrison. Cast members including Jonathan Pryce, Salim Dor, Khalid Abdallah, Dominic West, and Elizabeth Debicki.
You can also catch up with the story so far by searching The Crown, the official podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribe now and get the new series of The Crown, the official podcast.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
As he's just said.
I have said it a couple of times.
Mentioned it before.